very wet and soggy red carpet in London's Leicester Square for the film premiere of everybody's favourite teddy bear, Paddington. All of the cast and crew are in attendance, and despite the grizzly weather, it's certainly not keeping this lot away. You're watching Film and TV now on the red carpet.
London.
Hi David, now obviously the original was all set in the 1950s.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to try and bring it to modern day society?
You know, not really. I think that the world we've created, because we were creating the first three, live action Paddington Bear, it necessitated some shifts. So for example, the bear is inspired by the drawings, but it's slightly adapted because he had to move and exist within a 3D universe, so we made him a little more bearish. The world of Paddington we made a little more heightened. It wasn't naturalistic. It's true. I think that's the key, is everything is truthful. So we made the world quite vivid. It's contemporary, but it's not a world filled with computers and mobile phones. It's a timeless world, and so it's modern, but it's classic.
Hot wind, two hot winds, but I like it. Well, I hope I don't look weird.
Yes, well, the CGI, that's something that, as I say, I don't think you could have done 10 years ago. And working with the people who I've worked with, on the Potter films and most recently on Gravity, Framestore, they did the most incredible job bringing Paddington to life.
It really is an absolutely successful film, and I think it's something which will appeal to many children and adults as well.
Yes, I hope so. I think that there is, when Paul wrote and directed it, we were thinking about comedy just being funny and having heart. And I think we weren't thinking this is for children, this is for adults, but I do believe there's material there for the whole family, young and old.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, likewise.
Stranger danger. There's some sort of bear over there. Probably selling something.
Hello there.
Mary. Hello.
Is a young bear needs our help, Henry?
See, this weather that we have today, I don't know what your climate is like at this time of year in Peru, but...
It's summer.
It's summer. Well, you see, this would be summer, but we have... It's a publicity stunt. We've created this rain because, as Paddington learns when he's a young cub, there are 107 ways of discussing the weather in Britain. Because it's an icebreaker. It's a way of starting conversation with a British person and allows you to take it to the next level. So, for instance, we would describe this possibly as it's raining cats and dogs, or it's a real brolly buster, meaning an umbrella, it would break your umbrella, or it's tipping it down. What other ones? Drizzle. There are different, there's a million different ways, 107 different ways of talking about rain. So we've laid it on for you today.
There's a very hilarious scene in the film where you're dressed up as a woman. How much fun did you have shooting that?
That was good laugh. I played Dame in Panto at Colchester Mercury years ago. So for me, it was a chip off the, it was slipping into an old familiar frock. But no, it was lovely. Lindy Hemming, our costume designer, had originally designed a lovely dress for me. It made me look a bit like Bo Peep, and I thought, no, we've got to really make sure that everything on this that this character wears needs to be from the makeup, from the cleaner's trolley. So, for instance, my wonderful bust is actually 2 floor mops, and my gorgeous eyeshadow is actually floor polish, and not to mention my lovely pink Crocs. So it was a lot of fun designing that, and we had a hoot doing it.
Do bears even have names?
My name is...
Right.
You try it. Mr. Brown, that is extremely rude.
Was it a very different experience filming a film, something like Downton Abbey, with production and preparation?
Well, it is. I mean, Downton is a sort of huge container ship that sort of chugs elegantly through the waters and takes a long time to turn around. But this was an even more complicated and delicate operation because of all the technical stuff. So it was a slow but thoroughly enjoyable process.
Perhaps you'd like an English name?
An English name?
Paddington.
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 Paddington? Sorry, I like it.
I loved London as I'm somebody who wasn't born in London, but I've come here, and it's somewhere that's very close to my heart. And I think lots of people in London have not necessarily born here. It's a big city with lots of different people and lots of different souls, and it was lovely to be able to celebrate that on film.
And of course, Michael loves the film.
Thank goodness. That would have been very upsetting if he didn't, but I was so pleased. It was when he said what he said, it was like a huge weight to be lifted from my shoulders. I think I've been anxious about that for 5 years, but I'm so pleased he feels that it's true to the spirit of his wonderful creation.
Now, I've got to ask you, how long was it initially from the beginning of the idea of making Paddington before it actually came onto the screen?
Well, I think David Heyman, our wonderful producer, started 9 years ago, so it's been quite a journey. I've been on it for almost 6, so it's been quite a mission. But Paddington's a much beloved character, and we really didn't want to do anything until we felt we could do something that was right and worth doing.
Watching the film, I must admit that I felt really very emotional, and it really was a case of you just want to take Paddington home. Was that something that you tried to put across in the film, that kind of message?
I think so. I mean, I think what's wonderful about Paddington is he's not just a sort of crazy talking animal. He's also a little stranger in a big world, and he goes on a proper emotional journey, and there's something very touching about him. And I know what I always responded to was the label around his neck saying, "Please look after this bear, thank you." It's very touching, and it's a lovely story, and I think there are a few tears along the way.
In terms of casting, did you have Hugh in mind and Julie Walters and Nicole Kidman when you were writing the story?
Well, you're supposed not to get too attached to actors that you have, because then they'll turn out not to be available or they won't want to do it, and it'll be heartbreaking. But we certainly got the dream cast, so I was incredibly happy. Paddington opens doors, and there are certainly Nicole. I never dreamed would want to be part of the project of a small British film, but she absolutely grew up with Paddington and loved it, and getting her on board was the sort of thing that Paddington makes possible.
And it's a film which appeals to both adults and children, and it's a humour which both can understand.
I hope so, yes. I mean, we just tried to do things that we thought were funny. We never tried to do children's jokes and grown-up jokes. We just tried to do jokes, and it seems to be working for audiences.
And finally, how involved was Michael in the actual filming and the production?
Well, Michael, I spoke to on the very first day. He was the first person I spoke to once they'd asked me to be part of the project, and he said, "So you're the person who's going to try and make an hour-and-a-half story out of Paddington. Good luck." And he's a writer and he knows the challenges, but it was wonderful to have him there. He read many drafts and always tried to keep us on the straight and narrow. It's almost like having Paddington's father there, making sure that you don't stray too far.
Well, it's fantastic films. Congratulations. Nice to meet you.
So glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Paddington's the best thing that's ever happened to the children.
Over Christmas with Get Santa, and now obviously with this film, you're going to be over all of the films over Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Long may it continue.
Well, what was the best thing for you for being involved with this film? Why did you decide, yes, I'd like to have a part in this?
I'm always fascinated about how they can choose it. I mean, it's working with Paddington, really. He's a lovely chap, and they get it so brilliantly. That's a thrill to be part of it. I don't understand how they do it at all, but Paddington is there, and
He's going in the attic, and I want you all to lock your doors.
You all right?
All good.
Well, obviously it's an amazing story about Paddington Bear, and I didn't really know him that much to the beginning, but I started having a stronger relationship with him, and I loved it. It was really amazing.
How scary was Nicole Kidman to work with?
She's actually a really lovely person. I mean, she's so nice to work with, and she's an amazing actress. I mean, she can go from being really lovely and then going on set and being a completely different character, and you know that someone's a good actor when they can do that. So she's a really lovely person, and she's just one of those people that you instantly like. So it was quite difficult to find her scary in the end.
That creature means a great deal to me.
Is he endangered?
He is now.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you in all this downpour of rain. Now, how much fun did you have shooting this film?
Oh, we had great fun. It was lovely, and a lot of it. Obviously, I loved my character. She's great, really good fun and quirky and mad and all of that. But also, it was fun because Paul's so creative. Paul King, the director. So it just meant it was he was open to all sorts. It wasn't rigid. This is how we play it. This is how the scene is. Things were changing constantly, so that it was lovely from that point of view.
And Mrs. Bird is a bit like the moral conscience, isn't she? She's the one that points things out, lets the family know just what they need. How important do you think she is within the film?
Yeah, Mrs. Bird is very important. She saves. Oh, I shouldn't say really. Don't cut that. Mrs. Bird is very important. She's a sage. She's full of wisdom, and she knows how important Paddington is to that family. And so it's about her wisdom, really. And she's got great humour, and she keeps them in check, basically, as well.
And I've got to ask you, in the scene where she's drinking, obviously, with a security officer, was that just brilliant acting, or did you really have a little something in there?
Oh, no. No, do you know what it was? Water coloured with tea.
Not quite as exciting.
No, not quite as exciting. I'm not a whiskey fan, no. So,
well, congratulations on the film. It's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's actually quite good fun. Ah.